So unemployment is at a four-time high this year, the last few months particularly. And I want to talk about why. So first of all, there is a lot of people coming from other countries that don't have the entitlement to work, but can claim job seekers allowance, etc. So there's a lot of that too. There's a lot of people who are not Irish citizens who are getting job seekers allowance that are there. So that makes up a good bit, probably 60 or 70%. But there is a lot of young Irish lads and young Irish women too that can't get anything. As simple as that. Because the only jobs they can get are shitty jobs that basically gives them the work for nothing, basically. And I know a good few young people who went to college, maybe got a small degree, and when they got out of the college, there's nothing for them. There's nothing that they qualified for, and they expected to work shitty jobs for shitty money, and they want to raise a family and they have to pay the rent, etc. So why would they bust themselves in a lot of cases? Because a lot of people get better money on the dole. Take for example, I go out and work a 40-hour week. And to be totally honest, I'd nearly be better staying at home and not bothering to go out to work, because you nearly would get as much money staying at home than going out to work. And that's the sad reality. A lot of people are better off to get other allowances, etc., on job seekers. They get the flu allowance. Like, I'm not entitled to view allowance, etc., because I'm working, etc. And I'm not entitled to the other allowances that people on social welfare would get, if that makes any sense. So I would have to fork it out of my own money for fuel, etc., for coal, etc. It's coming out of my back pocket compared to people who are on job seekers. They get it, the fuel allowance. So a lot of people don't see the point, and a lot of young people particularly, they're working shitty jobs and they're getting nowhere, and they can never save up because it's just shitty money, and they can't do it now. So I wouldn't blame a lot of young people, and even that too. That would probably make up another 20% of Irish people, etc. And in a lot of cases, I don't blame a lot of young Irish people, because why would they work and bust themselves for nothing when they get no thanks for it from the government, etc. Because it goes to the back pocket of the politicians. It doesn't go to the benefit of Irish people. It goes to the back pocket of politicians and to the European Union, etc. But this is the other part. There's about 3%. People with special needs, people with autism, etc., have nobody's taking them in. And I know a few people who have special needs. Some of them have ADHD, behavioural problems. And no employers will. I know one of them that's tried his best. He went around and handed out maybe 15 CVs. And as soon as the employer sees that he has ADHD and he's going to be an issue, and they have to kind of look after him, have to put an effort into looking after him, they don't want him. And that's the sad reality. It's the sad truth. It's one of the employers said to him, it'd be too much hassle to take him on, because he has behavioural problems, special needs, etc. In some cases too, with autism. Even I know myself, if I was looking for a job outside my job now, I wouldn't get it because I'm dyslexic, and they wouldn't want somebody like that. They wouldn't say it to your face because you can sue them from discrimination, because they can't do that. It's the same with race, etc. They can't discriminate against people. But obviously, if that was a race issue, it'd be all over the newspapers if somebody was told you can't do it because you're from a certain country. There'd be war over that. But it's all right with dyslexia, but they can do that, and the media wouldn't give a shit. But there's that crack too. There's about 2 or 3% of that, and there's young people who just can't get anything. Like, take what's happened when I got out of secondary school. Only 4 I lucky had a job, and they were accepted. There's so many young people like myself who have special needs problems, and the state didn't give a shit about them. So the state doesn't give a shit. They couldn't care less. There was no such thing as the state say, somebody coming from the state to say, oh, am I being looked after, do I need any help, etc. in CVs or doing things. No, not at all. Didn't give a fuck. And just to say, sadly, it's the same for a lot of special needs. But thankfully, I had somewhere to go. I had a job. But there's so many more people like me who are dyslexic, etc., who have other needs, autism, etc., and they're just left to the side of the road, and the government don't give a shit. It doesn't. It's a very sad state of affairs. But there is a lot of people just on job seekers and on other allowances too. Now, particularly young people, I'm very worried about that, particularly. Because in my opinion, you should work if you can work. If you're sick and have illnesses, I'm not expecting you to work. Nobody should be expected to have illnesses. But if somebody can work and they can get a job and something that they like, again, they shouldn't be put into an environment that is some kind of shitty job that they despise, etc. Nobody should be put into that situation. Something that you enjoy, if you're interested in. Because the time passes fast and you enjoy yourself, because you shouldn't be getting people to work in shitty jobs that they have no time for, or that have no care, and they're not motivated to do. And I know that's easier said than done, and I said this earlier on about people going to college and getting degrees and stuff and coming out and there's no work in that sector. I know somebody too that got a security degree back a while ago. He got his level 3 security, something level 4 or something like that, from Cavan Institute here. And when he went out looking for security work, he was only given direct provision centres, and he wouldn't work in direct provision centres, and he's right, to be totally honest. But there was no other security work outside of that. There was loads of money in that, but he didn't want to do that. But there was loads of work outside. There wasn't any work for hospitals or anything like that. There was only for direct provision centres. But yeah, so it is a problem. People coming out now, they can't get jobs in the sector that they qualified for. If that makes any sense. So there's a lot of angles to be covered here, but mainly too, there's a lot of people from outside the state who are not Irish citizens who are getting job seekers allowance, etc. Because they don't have the entitlement to work in some cases too. In some cases they're just on the dole. But as I say, I was just about to say the other time, if you can work, you should work, of course, and try and find something that you like, something that you enjoy, because the time passes faster, etc., etc. But it should be that nobody should be really on job seekers allowance. At limit, it would be a year and 5 months, a year and 6 months at most. That should be the total limit. After that, you have no entitlement to take for job, unless you're an Irish citizen. If you're an Irish citizen, you can have it for a bit longer. But even as an Irish citizen, after a year and 5 months or so on the dole or on job seekers, you should have work. You really should. And I do think we should start talking about cutting people if they don't get it. I know some people are disadvantaged. We should take that into account. But if people are just lazy and stuff and don't want the job, then we have to kind of do that, unfortunately. And I know we have to address too that work should pay too, and that's the thing we should address too, because people on the dole, etc., shouldn't be getting better benefits than people working. Like, say for example, I'm not saying for myself, I don't really care about getting anything else. I go and work for my money. I'm not expecting anything from the state. But I'm just saying for other people who have families and stuff, who are trying to get a house, trying to pay a mortgage and stuff, they should get better benefits. The government should try and help them out a bit more. People that are working and paying their tax. Like, I don't give a shit about myself. The government can never give me a penny. But for them, I feel sorry for people like that trying their best, and the government are helping people that are sitting at home, etc., etc. And there's only the truth, and we have to say it. But there's some people that are very disadvantaged, etc. As I say, people with autism, in some cases ADHD and stuff, that are just fucked onto the dole and left there left to rot. And it's a sad thing to say, but it's the truth, and we have to address that too, because we have to start taking care of people who have special needs, who are different than people. And I hate using the word different, but we're all different in different ways, and some people need extra help in terms of getting employment, etc. And there should be. We should do our best to make sure they get some of the feel like they're contributing too. Because unfortunately, it's a sad thing to say, but it's the truth, that so many people with special needs are just left in the cold. But anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe more, and bye.